And welcome back to Capitol Tonight. So while there are no statewide elections this year, there are some pretty close contests at the county level, and one of them, one of the closest actually, at least according to a recent Siena poll, is out in Erie County, where Democratic County Controller Mark Poloncarz is challenging the Republican County Executive Chris Collins. Last night, the two candidates faced off in a debate sponsored by the League of Women Voters. Topics ranged from public libraries to the Buffalo Bills. No big surprise there. Joining me now for a look back at that debate, which will be the only debate that is televised, I understand, is Mark Poloncarz. Mr. Comptroller, thank you very much for your time.
It's my pleasure to be back with you, Liz. And
it is good to see you. I just want to preface this by saying that we have reached out to your opponent. We have yet to hear back from him, and we have invited him on many occasions. I think this is like the third or fourth time we have seen you since you announced, but we're still waiting for him. Anyway, let's get right to it. Last night's debate was the only debate, as I mentioned. It seems like you guys are pretty evenly matched. You felt good coming out of there, is that right?
I felt very good. At the end of the debate, I felt I had won the debate. I had gotten across the issues that matter to the people of Erie County, showing my record as the county controller of saving millions of dollars in taxpayers' dollars and comparing that to my opponent, who raised taxes, cut services, gave raises to his highest paid cronies. And oh, by the way, we have approximately 14,000 less jobs in Erie County since he took office. It was, as we call it, I'm an old hockey player. It was an old Donnybrook. We threw punches at each other, but I think at the end of the day, I was the one that was left standing.
Yeah, you know, one interesting thing that emerges from this race is that you continue to go back to your blue-collar roots and try and painting Mr. Collins a little bit as wealthy, out of touch, while he is painting you as a handmaiden of the left, in particular labor unions. So just that approach, I mean, are you trying to paint yourself as a man of the people? And if you are, why do you think that's going to be effective?
Well, I am, I believe, a man of the people. I'm the son of a steelworker and nurse who grew up in blue-collar Lackawanna. I'm the first of my generation to attend college from all my cousins on both sides of the family. I had to work to get where I am today, often holding two jobs at once to pay the bills. And Mr. Collins is out of touch. He doesn't know exactly what's going on with the people of Erie County. He lives in a secluded community, in one of the richest communities in, truthfully, all of upstate New York. And when you live in a county that has the third poorest city in America, if you don't really know what's going on in the community, how can you ably represent them as the county executive? I think it came out last night. He just truthfully is unaware of some of the issues that the people are facing.
Yeah, but
I'm going out there talking about my agenda, what I've done as comptroller, and what I want to do as county executive, including job growth issues. And you didn't hear much of that from my opponent last night. He basically said, I said I was going to run it like a business. Well, he did, a failed Wall Street business in which all the fat cats make out and the rest of us are left to clean up the scraps.
Well, right, hold on.
The people of Erie County are going to respond.
Hold on. His message is, of course, pretty traditionally Republican. Smaller government, lower taxes, better economic climate. I mean, just to play devil's advocate, though, I guess you could look at records and say there's nothing wrong with being a CEO-type person running a government. I mean, Mayor Bloomberg does it, and he's quite a bit wealthier, I believe, than Mr. Collins, and it worked great for him.
But what Mr. Collins says and what he does are two different things. He said, I held the line on taxes when, in fact, he's actually raised property taxes. He said he's held the line and cut spending when he's actually increased spending. He's cut spending in certain areas and things he doesn't believe in, like libraries, arts and cultural institutions, even rodent control or the 4-H program, which is necessary in our rural areas. But he's given tens of thousands of dollars of raises to his highest paid patronage employees. That's what alienates folks. Last night, it was he couldn't answer the question when asked by Bob McCarthy of the Buffalo News as to why his hand-chosen attorneys that were supposed to come in as outside counsel for the Industrial Development Agency and reduce cost actually doubled the cost that was charged to the people of Erie County, while at the same time they also donated approximately $80,000 to his campaign,
right,
as well as the Republican Party. So he basically says one thing but does the complete opposite, and I think that was pretty evident in last night's debate.
Okay, for those, obviously, some folks who are watching, say, from the Hudson Valley or the Capital Region and weren't able to see the debate, I just want to broaden it out a little bit. I mean, your message is one that I think would resonate with a lot of folks if they get to see it. I mean, one place where you had been severely hampered was fundraising. He's got more than $1 million on hand. At last we checked, 213,000 on hand for you. You thought that a poll by Siena that put this race at 49-46 with just an edge toward the incumbent would help you raise money. Has it?
Yes. We've raised over 6 figures since that poll was announced.
So then you're now on TV. I mean, do you believe that you're going to have the capability to up your airtime, up your message, and really get out the vote? I mean, at this point, it's really going to come down to turnout, is it not?
Yes, I mean, we will be able to compete with the media and television, and certainly compete with the GOTV efforts. We've actually been working on GOTV since May now. I feel confident we've been able to identify almost all the likely voters in Erie County, and that's why the polls are as close as they are. It's not just happened by happenstance. It's because of the hard work that we've been doing all along. Media matters, I'll agree. You got to be on TV to get the message out.
Sure.
But people know the differences between my opponent and I. They know what I stand for. They know what he stands for. I'm proud to be son of Main Street, so to speak. Well, he can say he's a son of Wall Street. In the end, the people of Erie County are looking for a representative who represents them. And they don't have one now, but I feel confident they will when they elect me on November 8th.
Yeah, the Collins campaign regarding that poll has said that it over-relied on turnout from the city of Buffalo, which of course is more Democratic in terms of enrollment, and then outside the city is more Republican, and independents are a little bit higher there too. I mean, is that what you're banking on? You're banking on turning out these voters from the urban center of the county?
Well, no. I mean, we're relying on votes everywhere. I believe I'm beating them in the inner ring suburbs right now that are key. I think many people heard for the longest time last year during the Governor Cuomo and Carl Palladino race that so goes Cheektowaga, so goes New York State.
Yes.
Well, I'm beating him in the key suburb of Cheektowaga. I'm beating him in key suburbs like West Seneca and Tonawanda. I feel confident that we're going to draw votes from all across the county, even the rural areas. And of course, the more votes I can get out from the city of Buffalo, the better, because then invariably those votes are generally more Democratic in nature.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Andrew Cuomo and his potential involvement in this race. If Chris Collins, in fact, is defeated, it would probably be good for the Cuomo administration. Chris Collins was interested in running statewide in 2010 and pulled out of the race quite early, actually. Will you get assistance from the governor? You were down in Albany, according to the Buffalo News, and so far we haven't seen anything from him. Is an endorsement coming, a TV ad maybe?
I feel very confident you'll be seeing a lot with regards to the governor in my race. The state Democratic Party is actively involved. Executive Director Charlie King, as well as the political director Rich Horner, have been actively involved in the last week. Mr. Horner's on site right now, and I think you'll be seeing a lot more of Mr. Cuomo's interest in this race in the upcoming week.
Do you believe that if, in fact, you're able to pull this off, do you believe that it will be incumbent upon you to unite the Erie County Democratic Party? I mean, actually, the Cuomo camp tried to do it, and they weren't quite successful. And it seems to me that you might actually succeed in spite of that, if in fact you do, and it could be problematic going forward unless it's dealt with.
Well, I'll say this. The Erie County Democratic Committee is almost 100% united. There's one individual who's not endorsed my candidacy. That is the mayor of the city of Buffalo. I'm hopeful he will. The last time that a Democrat was the county executive of Erie County was the last time the Democrats were 100% united. So I think it's easy to say that once I win this on November 8th and take office on January 1st, there will be a united Democratic Party behind me.
And in your mind, does that mean that Len Lenahan continues to be the chairman?
I don't even know if Len wants to continue to be the chairman at this point. I think it's fair to say we want to have a united party, and I know Len wants to see the Democrats take over the office of county executive through my election. In the end, I've been a strong supporter of Len for years. I think he's done a great job. And in the end, we as Democrats are going to win as a team regardless of who is with us. And right now, everyone's with us but one. And I'm going to win with him or without him, to tell you the truth.
Well, this is a really interesting race. I mean, because Carl Palladino was so strong in Western New York, I think people are looking at it. Also, because it seems the whole tenor generally with this anti-Wall Street effort that's going on now in Manhattan and throughout the state and throughout the nation, actually, could be turning this race in a particular direction. Do you agree with that?
I think so. I mean, what happened in Erie County last year with regards to the gubernatorial election, people felt that Carl Palladino was one of us, so to speak. He's a blue-collar guy, a lunch bucket type of guy, and the same thing goes with me. So while you look at the polls, including the recent Siena Poll, Governor Cuomo's approval rating is very high in Erie County. People voted for Carl Palladino not so much because they were voting against Andrew Cuomo, but because they felt Carl was one of theirs. I think the same goes with my election this year. Chris is out of touch with the voters of Erie County. I am not. I feel just as comfortable in a country club as I do a diner in a corner in a blue-collar part of the city. I don't think the county executive can say that, and that's why I feel confident I'm going to get the vote of a majority of the people of this community.
Well, Mr. Comptroller, we're going to be keeping an eye on this race. In the meantime, I want to thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we will be spending some time with your opponent in the future.
Excellent. I look forward to a big victory and hope you'll be in town for that night.